Boy, this stuff is amazing. You know it. This is kind of an unscheduled, impromptu kind of discussion. Sometimes you get thoughts on your mind. It's probably best just to get them off. It's probably best to talk about them. It's probably best to share them. And I hope each of you has somebody in your life that you feel competent enough or confident enough in that you can do that. Because quite frankly, what we're really doing here with all of this stuff, with all of this Asatru and Hellenistic and Druids and all of these various pagan religions, everything we do is really and truly under a microscope. And we've kind of flummoxed around for a long time with various ideas to see who could generate the most support and the most influence and many other things. But just what exactly are we doing here? What is the end goal, the end result? What am I going to look like if I follow this path? What will I become? What kind of man will I be? What kind of woman will I be? And I see several preconceived notions being bandied about as if they might be legitimate. I see the traditional thing come around quite a bit. I see the no holds bar kind of idea of the universalists. Really no limits to whatever boundaries they have. And both, I suppose, have their freedoms for individuals. But the one thing that we cannot afford to do, insofar as Asatru is concerned, is to let it be that platform by which we continue to let certain excesses of personal behavior, which are usually way outside societal norms, become a commonplace and justifiable event in our lives. And I see that happen quite a bit. And people say that I have an outrageous ego, and perhaps I do. Because I feel it threatened at times. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm sure many of you will. We see things that make us feel like we won't be as important, or we won't be as valued by other members of the community if this person's information holds more sway than mine. Occasionally, I have to step back from that. Occasionally, I get forced back from that. I get old thought patterns that arise and literally cause me damage. That you grow up with, the things that brought you to the crossroads where you had to change the spiritual foundation of your being. It's very difficult to justify ridding oneself of those when everything's going good. And what happens when it stops going good? Or what happens if it gets much, much better? And as I found myself in both scenarios, it's got bad and it's got much, much better. It's real easy to lose track of what it means to become some kind of individual that might resemble a person that can rise above the miasma and the chaos of what modern day society insists that, however we've been categorized, be important to us and the actions we should take as seen on the news. But if there's one thing that is probably the most important thing we can do, it is to rid ourselves of those society determined ideas that we should insist ourselves and others be righteously indignant about. Because that puts us right back in a neat little niche that we can be cataloged and ignored in the most routine manner. And I happen to think wholeheartedly that there is something much, much more for us with regards to everything we're doing in this. Even the individuals that are out there reading it and don't possess the wisdom of the words that they're reading, They have a role to play. Everything is a stepping stone. Everything's a part of growth. There's always going to be balance. You'll get a little good, you'll get a little bad, and you'll keep moving forward. And the trick with all of it is not letting it draw us off our course. I think by and large, we're struggling with laying out that course. Even though one of our most prominent deities is often referenced as the North Star, he is a guiding light for princes. And are we not each of us a prince? Are we not each of us a king in our own home, a creator of our own world, the champion for our children, the lover to the person that we love most? Do we not have a role to fulfill that's something that needs to be filled in that manner? When are we going to begin to chart a course based on that true North Star, that great nautical standard of spiritual paths that allow us to rise above so much of what drags us down? We're challenged by it every day. We're force fed snippets of news, half truths, and outright lies that insist we feel this way or feel that way, or that somebody's going to take something from us. And chances are, if we let them, they will. Don't be stupid about it. But by the same token, we've got to be a little bit smarter about it. It's time to start taking a real serious inventory of ourselves and stock of ourselves to see what we're really capable of. Are we capable of being that man that we wish to be? Are we capable of being that woman that we wish to be like? Are we capable of filling the shoes that we think we're worth? Because at the end of the day, when you lay your head down, that's the only thing that needs to be answered. Did you do what was necessary to fill the shoes that you think you're worth? Did you take those actions necessary to be that partner worth keeping around? Did you indulge in those actions that will make your children tell their grandchildren about how great a man or a woman you were? We've all got our own personal little struggles we got to deal with and wrestle with. I have them all the time. I'm just a man. But I think what I'm trying to cultivate with everything I'm doing on Patreon and these YouTube channels and these Zoom video meetings every Sunday that people like to make fun of is help individuals create that idea of what they want to become. To even identify what size shoes they think they're capable of filling. This is the only thing faith can do for a man. It gives him that hope and that encouragement and that strength to try one more time, to step up to the plate, to become what you need to become, and create that image of what it means to live a successful Asatru life. This ancient notion that this is the religion of homework, well, yeah, there's some things you need to understand. But first and foremost, what we need to begin to start understanding is ourselves. Until we understand who we are and where we came from and what we've done wrong and how we're going to fix that about ourselves and change those thought patterns, this will die in the backyard like so many other ideas or ancient societies or secret societies or flash in the pan spirituality movements or pagan ideas. To prove what we are worth to the world, we've got to start with each one of us working hard as we can on ourselves. Maybe I don't need to have another beer. Maybe I don't need to take another pill. Maybe I don't need to lose my temper with my children. Maybe I don't need to be so abusive to the person I say that I love. Because inevitably, all of those actions, all of those external enemies, you're going to have to realize at some point in your life, there's no such thing as an external enemy. And I don't care how you process that. I'm telling you right now, there's no such thing as an external enemy. The thing that's going to harm you the most, that's going to damage you the most, that's going to keep you from cultivating a true, powerful symbol and idea of what you're capable of becoming is the manipulation of your ability to conceptualize an external enemy. Think about it. You'll see that I'm right. So, what does that image of an individual look like that lives this successful, Asatru life? Well, I'm beginning to think more and more that they're not the individual that goes around talking about how traditional they are. I'm beginning to think more and more that they're not the individual that goes around talking about how universalist they are and how they fight against evil wherever they see it. I think perhaps they might simply be the quiet man and woman who go about their business in loving homes and raise happy children and loving children who are well educated, who are intelligent, who are mannered, who, who value above all else the love they share for each other. There can be no other way. It's the most powerful thing that we have working on our behalf. And that means sacrificing parts of ourselves that inhibit our ability to do that. And that's a scary thought because at 50 years old, I'm just now learning what intimacy really means. And there's a whole world of people out there just like me. But I had the courage to try. And I want to encourage each of you to try to do the same thing. Let it hurt. Don't avoid it. Deal with it. Grow from it. Become an awakened man. Be able to stand tall on your front porch with all your bills paid, with well-fed children, happy in a home. And then let's start talking about being able to do something and affect change in a world. Because right now, so many of us are putting the cart before the horse. That is kind of my dream for what I want to see these individuals who become awakened in this idea of Asatru, who grab a hold of this lifeline that the gods have literally thrown us to pull us out of the morass of modern day society. It's not a word. It's not a collection of it's not a collection of much bandied about hot button or hot topic issues. It is the strength of the relationships we create with the people we love. Everybody wants to talk about building a kindred. Start with your wife. Start with your sons. Start with your daughters. From there, let it grow naturally. Be that example and insist upon meeting the standards. That's something else that we need to worry about. Well, it's just a little bit. It's just we'll let that slide because they've got the right idea about a white ethno state, or they've got the right idea about Deck 127, both of which are the most asinine ideas you could possibly imagine. They won't get us anywhere. Neither one of them. But that man that stands at his front door, confident in who he is as a man because other men have helped confer masculinity upon him, and loves a woman who is living in an environment where it's safe to express the beauty of who she is, that have happy, well-fed children running around, why all of a sudden there's something very much worth fighting for there. There's something very much worth living for. There's something very much worth holding on to as valuable in this world. And we don't have enough of it. I'm of the firm belief that Asatru has what it takes for each of us to create that in our homes. There's a million people that believe in this Asatru idea around the world. Do you know what kind of difference that could make if we began to embrace that instead of the hot topic, hot button issue of the day? Why, we could change the course of the future itself in a positive way, in a powerful way. It might set an example for other pagan faiths to do the same thing. Now, all of a sudden, instead of having a foundational concept such as Christianity, where Cain slew Abel, these two masculine forces are opposed to each other and are murderously opposed to each other within ourselves. We once again begin to incorporate the divine feminine and the divine masculine inside each of us into a complete individual capable of doing the grand things we see our heroes and our gods accomplish. simply, powerfully, with but a word and an action. All of it starts with love. So as I sit here alone this evening, I want to encourage each of you, just try. If it hurts and you get knocked down, get up, dust yourself off, and try again. Take an inventory of yourself. See what you have to offer to somebody instead of what they have to offer to you. And figure out what it means to love yourself. As cheesy ass, corny shit as that sounds, that's what you got to do. Because you can't give something away you ain't got. Asatru is here to help us figure that out again. So let's figure it out.